Hey, it's me, your hostess, Dominique Rivera, the Oracle of Apollo, and I hope you are sitting tight in that seat. You got the popcorn, you got the high quality H2O. Make sure you're liking and subscribing because in about 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to be jumping into our Halloween special and another supernatural story time every single Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, stay tuned and we're going to jump right into the show with Snow Raven.
You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Thank you for joining me on Divine Encounters. Make sure you have your high quality H2O during this feed. I am your hostess, Dominique Rivera, the Oracle of Apollo. This show is all about inspirational moments in which we can savor things of the divine or of supernatural nature that we can't quite understand, things that go beyond this moment, but our soul's calling, our soul's yearning, and beyond. And I hope you hang out with me this evening as we have another supernatural story time with Snow Raven today. And she is going to be talking to you guys a little bit. She is from the Republic of Sakha. And I'm probably saying that wrong, Snow Raven. I am so sorry. But it's in Arctic Siberia. And she started to learn the language of animals. And we're going to be jumping into a little bit about that. But of course, on her experiences growing up. So super excited. Make sure that you guys are throwing those little hearts down there. Let me know in the comment section below if you're happy about my new background. Hey, yes, I changed my background. I'm back in Philadelphia and I have a new background. I like it. It's kind of dim, but it's kind of like, hey, come hither. I want to tell you a secret. Okay. And before we jump into anything, make sure you drink up. Every time you see me drink, I am a big advocate for hydration, guys. Huge. You guys know this already. So it's your health, wealth, and prosperity. Super, super duper. And if you guys are looking for any type of readings, if you are looking for mediumship, book me for private events. Or if you have a healing that needs to be addressed or are looking for talisman tattoo, you guys can book me at oracleofapollo.com. All your needs right here. Check it out. Let me know what y'all need. All right. So let's bring on my guest for today. Give a big thumbs up. If you're watching this on the replay, which you probably are this Halloween week, make sure you have hashtag replay. Okay. Amiga.
Hello, Uriaijal.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to see your beautiful face and that you agreed to meet with me and have a little chat here on E360.
Thank you so much for having me. We say Uriaijal, that's a greeting in Sakha language.
Sakha language.
Sakha. Yeah, you said it right, actually.
Yay!
Sakha or Sakha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. Let people know at home just a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is Snow Raven, in Sakha language Swar, which means Snow Raven, right? And I'm an indigenous Sakha from Arctic Siberia. I was born and grew up there. If you don't know where is that, it's near to North Pole, the northern area of the whole planet Earth. And I moved to the United States 4 years ago by the guidance of the spirits, to continue the music career, and I created Olux ecosystem. So I'm a musician and singer, and also climate activist, environmentalist, I would say. Yeah, and doing a lot of interesting projects.
And I had the privilege, guys, of sitting in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains with this beautiful goddess teaching us bird calls. And my seagull was the one that died. That was me. My seagull died. We tried we tried to do seagull sound and I could not make an intake sound. It was terrible. But in spirit, we honor you, seagull. So thank you. I like to start off every episode. Hold on, I see myself flashing right here, so put the mic down a little bit. I like to start off every episode, Snow Raven, what we call is the good news. And this is a message for all of you at home for the midweek. So to that I say, what's good? Oh, the privileges of having two cameras again. Here we go. We have here, I haven't had two cameras. Ace of Emotions, First World Problems. Okay, Snow Raven and guests, seekers out there who are watching this episode, this card is for you whenever you hear the message. And we're going to get nice and close to the microphone so you guys get it nice. This card is about experiencing the Ace of Emotions. This watery ace lives in the ocean, and she is fluid as a seaweed that dances and sways with the currents. She is always bubbling something new into life. Underneath the mirrored appearance, underneath the mirrored surface of her creative shores, hers is a creativity of the heart, an emotional intelligence that is guided by feeling. She creates new perceptions, emotional connections, and all of the magic bubbles that contain the genesis of loving relationships. She does this through healing, blending, introducing, and taking the plunge towards love each and every time. If you were to feel her energy, the Ace of Emotions is like the first breath of fresh air at the surface of the water after being underwater for far too long. And finally, pushing through the threshold. For those who repress emotions or keep them hidden below, she adds the effervescence that loosens and gently floats them to the surface. For those who are quick to anger, she adds the cooling gel to soothe them. And for those who feel the heavy pressure of all their feelings, she caresses their gentle hearts with the bringe of courage, positive whispers, and healing waters. She invites you to the depths of her tide and to the surface of your truth, where she opens up the rivers of new relationships and experiences. Here's the poem. This card is astounding and it resonates with me 1,000. Here's the poem. New drops of who I am fill my senses with the most intoxicating states of bliss. They rehydrate my soul and cleanse my eyes of a past forgotten, replaced with these bursts of something untasted. And I am drunk with it, drunk with possibility. So helpless am I to resist, so eager am I to insist, and willingly I swim into the sea of the new, nothing more than my open heart and my pockets filled with hope, that which the tides will bring. Oh my God. Okay, Snow Raven. Oh my God. How are you feeling about this message today?
Absolutely resonating. Thank you so much. First of all, your voice was so beautiful and soothing to hear this description of this card and the poetry. So beautiful poetry, and it totally resonates with me because I'm very emotional person, but emotional means in a very, like way, like a positive way, vulnerable, uh, compassionate, right? So I like compassion and integrity. Those all are, um, I think, comes from the sensitivity towards the world and what is
Mm.
happening specifically in the world right now. We're all going through the purge, awakening process. It's very harsh, and it's very challenging. And specifically, in my culture, in shamanic culture, we believe that deep healing and awakening happens through the lower world. And lower world, it's a fear realm. And if
Mm.
we understand how to if we learn how to work with our emotions, how to be able to um, negotiate with our emotions, or fully expressing but without harming the environment, and using that emotions for the earth and humanity, for their benefits, I think, it's just it's beautiful. And ace of emotions, that how did you pick it up? It's just like from
Yeah, I
the
shuffled and I asked Spirit to give me a
uh-huh,
card, and then I
uh-huh,
asked for a jumper specifically. That means
uh-huh.
the card that flies out of the deck. And as soon as I
Mm,
asked for that, the card flew out of the deck,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, it resonates with me too. So this is it's crazy. It's a crazy card. And I loved your interpretation of that, and thank you so much for sharing. So before we jump into your story, we're gonna have another moment here where we escalate our energy now. So we're gonna be this is a lot, Robert. I'm just gonna Robert, thank you. I will read that on the replay. That is a lot. I love you. Um we're going to go ahead into a moment here. We call it a mindfulness moment. And the idea is to remember every day that we have the choice to recalibrate ourselves and shift our own energy. And all we need is our breath and 1 minute of time. So, what we're going to do is ask you guys at home, and Snow Raven's going to answer when we come back. Where are you at energetically in this moment from 1 to 10? 1 being this is the least amount of energy I can have in my body. I'm so tired. Or 10, this is the most amount of energy and I'm going to explode off my chair. And put that in the comment section below now. Okay, Snow Raven, where are you at from 1 to 10, please?
I am probably at 6, because I'm about to film after this my lessons classes for Olux app, and I need to be like super focused, not too much, like jumping out of my chair. Yeah,
I
to both, like center and also explosion at the same time. Yeah,
I
that's where
like
I am
that.
at.
I like that. I
Hmm.
feel like I'm at a 7, but I feel kind of floaty and I feel like giddy and I can feel myself already rising in joy. So I know by the end of this, I'm just going to be all over the place. I could feel it. I'm going to do it for the both of us. Okay. We have Robert is at a 12 right now. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll take a 12, Robert. That's good. You're better than you're both of us combined. Okay. So we're going to hear a bell. We're all going to close our eyes, including Snow Raven. I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock if this is the first time, and then I'm going to guide you all through a breathing exercise. Here we go. Wonderful. Eyes are closed, 60 seconds on the clock. We're going to go ahead and breathe in new opportunities with this ace of emotions and letting go any blocks. On your next natural inhale, just keep breathing these thoughts in. New relationships, we're opening and allowing new people to enter a circle that is for our highest good. We're allowing ourselves to feel new feelings. Compassion and creativity enter us as we exhale anything that no longer serves us. We're asking for emotional intelligence here as well. and letting go of any repressed emotions, unblocking all of our creativity. And then just let that go and just notice how your body does. And when you're feeling centered again, we're going to go ahead and give ourselves a moment of gratitude and namaste to everyone, and bow to yourself in respect that you took this moment to calibrate for yourself. Give yourselves kudos that you took priority in your self care in this moment. And let this be a gentle reminder, anywhere your breath is, so is your center. Aho. And you can open your eyes whenever you're a person again. Now let us know in the comment section below, where are you at from 1 to 10? 12 counts. And what did you feel? Peace, relaxing, you felt tension, you felt pain, hot, cold. Did anything come up for you in that 1 minute? Throw it in that comment section below. Snow Raven, did anything come up for you in that 1 minute?
Yes, I think I went to the center, to the 5. That's what I really, really needed, to be everywhere, nowhere at the same time, and to be hyper emotional. But as you said, like 1 is I'm super tired, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 10, it's I'm ready to jump. So somewhere between. I try to achieve that golden meat of, everything and everywhere. It's really hard to achieve that, but I think that's the also state of being at the present time. And for me, when I do interview or I sing or I'm filming something, I'm being at the present time. So my emotions not are jumping around, but I'm also energized at the same time. I'm not super tired. So it's a perfect description of the concept of the shamanism, when you are everywhere, and or you are everything, and you are nowhere, or you are nothing at the same time. So being everywhere and nowhere at the same time, being everything and nothing at the same time. It's really hard to achieve that, but it's possible. So I'm feeling kind of, a little bit touching that realm right now after the breathing. Yeah, and in the
Good.
streaming, you have to be like right there in the streaming.
I know. I know. It's
Mhm.
sometimes it's hard to come back in form. Mr. Robert says, savoring the emotional energy of falling in love. Oh, that's
Oh.
beautiful. All right. So we're gonna, now that everybody's nice and centered, we're gonna be jumping into our supernatural story times right after this very short message. So make sure you stay tuned and hang out with us and go to the bathroom real quick because it's about to get juicy. Thank you for joining me. I am your hostess, Dominique Rivera, the Oracle of Apollo, and we are doing a supernatural story. And we have Snow Raven here, who is going to be sharing a beautiful story with us today. And I'm super excited because although I met Snow Raven at Mandala Springs, I really don't know her. So I'm excited to hear her stories, and I got to hear some things But, this is why we're here. So make sure that you are welcoming her with warm arms. And we're going to jump into that supernatural story time in just like 10 seconds. So prepare yourself. Every story starts with in the beginning or once upon a time. So, what story you want to share with us today? Because I'm at a 10. Now I have to calm myself down.
um, I would like to share the story of my childhood. I would say the lifetime when I was in my homeland. I moved when I was 23. I left my nest when I was 23. So my basically childhood and teenager time and adulthood, the beginning of adulthood was there in Arctic Siberia, which is in a it's a very remote place. Civilization came later, and it's one of the most cold in the planet inhabited area in the planet Earth, where the winters can go to minus 96 degree by Fahrenheit or it's 72 by Celsius. On the contrary, the summers can go to plus 30, 40, 35. Where the winters are very long and cold, but summers are short. And living in that extreme weather conditions made my people very survival and also believing that everything is alive.
Mm,
Everything has a spirit, everything has a kutsur. Kutsur, it's the spirit. There's probably not an English words to describe it in a proper way. And so I would explain it in a way that kutsur is the combination of the energies within us and also outside. Like I would say inside of the body and also outside. But it's actually not like an inside and outside. It's actually all together, right? It's in a wholeness. So Yakut, it's the mother kut, mother spirit, which related to your energy, to your ancestors and genes. Everyone has an indigenous ancestry, indigenous um, roots to the Mother Earth. If you look at your ancient ancestors, they were all hunters, they were all close to the Mother Nature. In other words, it's a energy which is hidden deep in your DNA. Borkut, it's a tangible world. We believe that it's all physical world. And our body is in the Borkut energy. Um, and it means earth spirit. So then the third one is the spirit of air, which is all unseen world, all mystery of the life. And kutsur, it's the energy that remain all of this three in wholeness. We cannot deny something. We see everything is interconnected. And the sur, the second word is the space where it's like an ether, I would say. There is no also right explanation to that in English, but it's the space where the sound can travel through, and there is no obstacles, no limitations for that. That's why the sur, it's the energy which combines all of these kuts together. And that this concept of Saka shamanism, it's been since I was child. It's been in my blood, right? And when you have something very mysterious that your mind cannot explain at all, it's we call it as a rite of passage, like it's a hidden skills awakening throughout your lifetime. And in my culture, we have the supernatural skilled people. We call them Oyun or Udagan. Oyun is the man shaman, and Udagan is the woman shaman. So it usually starts from the early age when you're 3 or 4 years old. You probably noticed that sometimes, when you're in your childhood, there were the situations where cannot explain being in this matrix. And that happened to me when I was little child. I very clearly remember that I was around 3 years old, and my mother's best friend, she came and she was pregnant, and she had a big belly, and she asked, "What is um, Snoraven? Do you how do you think? Is it boy or girl?" And she didn't do any ultrasound or anything, and I said, "It's girl." And then she asked, "Okay, um, when I'm going to have when I'm going to have a pain and go to the hospital to give a birth?"
Ooh.
And I said, "3 days." and then she said, she asked after this, because she was very like scared from that pain, and then she wanted to know when it's going to happen.
Rightfully
And then,
so.
right. I don't know why did she did ask it from me, but we believe that kids can be connected to that unseen world, to the spirit of the air, and they can download information. So, and then the third question was, when I am going to give a birth after the pain, and I said, after 3 hours. And that happened exactly like I predicted. I didn't have intention to predict or something. And I'm sure a lot of people were experiencing in their life during the childhood something like that, something very um, mysterious and so unique, and almost supernatural. So that is my childhood story. And then, when the shamans, when they go through the rite of passage, so it starts from there. Like children, they don't know what to do with the skill, with the energy, with the gift they have, and play around. They play with that energy. And the hardest part of the rite of passage starts when you're around 7 to 10 years old, because every single 7 years there are some changes happening in the body. And so for me, my rite of passage is more gentle than the traditional, the powerful shamans in my culture, because the powerful shamans, they suffer a lot. They go through almost the death experience, and they might have non-diagnosed diseases and mental health issues, which means the energy enters to the body, and if body is not ready to process it, and the shaman doesn't know how to handle that energy, then they might experience, I'm going to explain it in a Western terminology, but we don't say it like that way. It's schizophrenia, or seizures, or epilepsy, or losing consciousness or memory. And in my case, in my life, it I never experienced that, but I had more gentle way. I always believe that there is something higher than me. And in my culture, we call it Urungar Toyon. So I was always connected to that energy. When I lose my, living after post-Soviet Union was very, we're living how to say, poor, but we never were hungry. But socially, like if you have a pen, if you lose it, right, like a pen, or you have lose the button in your outfit, in your clothes, uh, it would be like, oh, my mom will be angry about that. And then so everything was not enough. Like, I mean, these imported things were kind of precious
Mhm.
after the Soviet Union. And I lost my pen in school, and I was thinking, oh, my mom, I will make her sad, and because it costs money, and I will not and then I was thinking, in these situations, I usually connect to Urunartoyon, which is the energy that higher than me. And I would just fall onto my knees and look at the eastern, uh, like face the east side where
This
the
pen is
sun
really
comes out.
precious. This is a really, really precious pen. I just want to just
Right? It's,
need to point that out right now.
it's just a pen. But in that ridiculous situations, I was just um asking my the Urunartoyon to help me to find it out, and I always answered with a positive. I always find it. Or there was a situations when I lost my jubilee, because jubilee in my culture are very common. Specifically the silver one. Saha people value silver more than gold.
Hmm.
uh, yeah, and then I lost my earring, and I also asked from Uringartoyon, and he helped me too. Or I say he, but it could be she or he.
I
I
think
don't
a
know.
lot
It's
of
just
cultures have that because I know, like
right.
here, I learned about someone from an Italian friend who was
Hmm.
like, "Well, when I lose something, I just call Saint Anthony," and I was like, "What?" She's
Oh
like, "Yeah."
wow,
She's like, "Just do it. Next time you lose something, call Saint Anthony," and I
wow,
did. And every time, this is years now, every time I lose something that I can't find, I'll call St. Anthony and it will turn up like in my face, like, oh, it's right in front of my face. So
right,
I absolutely understand what you're saying about this entity, this energy.
right. It's all, we're all talking about the same. Uh, I would say all of these religions or beliefs, lifestyles, we're all talking about the universal's energies. And there's something fundamental about that, that science or our mind cannot explain yet, and probably will not explain it, in my opinion, because the mystery it's endless, and the science is trying to keep up with that by proving or disproving it constantly. I love science too, but a mystery, that's what I'm bowing. And yeah, and so that my teenager time was full of connection to the mystery, to the unseen world and higher energies.
And
And
also,
then,
would this connection be to the animals? Like, were you having like supernatural experiences with the animals? And if
oh
so,
yeah,
what does that look like?
I used to go to the nature when I was 3 years old, and I mean the whole, this period of time from 3 to 23. I used to, loved being alone in the nature and listening to birds and animal sounds, and catching the frequencies. So later I can try to process it through my mind, because right now I have more knowledge about the sound and how does it work, right? But by that time, I thought it's normal. It meant to be that way. This is the life expression or nature expression, and the nature is talking to me through those animals or insects or even plants. So what I usually would do is, um, be a good listener, like in
Mm.
falling into that stillness, and stillness within me, and catching the frequencies, the sounds coming from all over. And the place where I lived, my grandfather's house, it's very, very unique. It's in the bottom of the ancient river. It's a huge
Wow.
river, which means it has like a two hills on the northern side, and in the southern side there's also hill. So the sound flies, it bounces back and forth from two hills. And the ravens were very, very close to me. I could hear them everywhere I go, and even when I'm at home cutting the raw meat. So our traditional diet is the raw meat, meat of horse, beef, or the fish, and I would always share that with the ravens. I would give them the best piece from the meat and give it to them. And the ravens, they usually have four different sounds depending on the season. Spring and autumn sounds like, or, and this summer one is like somebody's screaming. When I heard that for the first time, I was, oh, who's screaming? Is it like a woman screaming in the forest? And then the fourth, the third sound is during wintertime. They do, and I have very beautiful memories about that. Living in -96, you're most of the time inside of the house during the winter. And in the house, usually it's very warm. We have a fireplace. It's super, super warm and cozy while it's -96 outside. And it's so cold that the air is frozen. It's so foggy, like 4 feet away, and you cannot see anything. um so I would go outside, open the door, and go outside for 5 seconds and just breathe in, inhale the frozen air, to refresh myself. And without any winter coat, just like this, like go out and having this extreme cold. And in one of those moments, I heard this winter sound of the raven for the first time. I heard this bouncing in the frozen air, bouncing from the hills. It was a very special moment. I couldn't see that it was a raven, but I could hear that it was him. And it was the bird flying above me, like. So I have that beautiful connection to the raven. And every time when I go back to my homeland, they circle around, they're there. And there's also the fourth sound, which is the mating sound, like this. It's very bassy. Usually, the male does this sound, and they're pretty common everywhere. So here in the United States, I also see them around, and I've seen how the male would uh, be trying to connect to the female one with the sound. So yeah, it's raven is so mysterious. In my culture, we see it as a very intelligent bird, and mysterious, always following, assisting shaman. And ravens also can mimic a lot of sounds. And that name, Snow Raven, was given by shaman woman Udaran to me.
Mm.
And I accepted it. Before, I thought it's very heavy because it's also related to death, mental death and rebirth. So it's a like whole cycle of the life. Um, and then what you resist,
Persists.
persist. Yeah, exactly, that was happening, and the raven energy was keep coming to me. And then when I accepted, I felt my wings spread out, and
Mm.
very, very freely I started to fly, in metaphoric way, fly. And literally in my dreams I was flying like as a raven and looking at my grandfather's house from the sky, all my
Wow.
village. Yeah, so this is very special connection to the raven and to spring, the sign of the spring, cuckoo bird. Um, we believe that from the very first sound of the cuckoo bird, the spring starts like, "Woo, woo," and then the other bird "Woo, woo," answers,
Oh
and then
yeah.
"Woo, woo, woo, woo," right?
So they're
And then
telling
in
all the
the
forest people like spring has arisen. That's what they're telling everybody. Like that's when you know spring's officially here. Because here,
yeah,
Western, we go by this beaver thing. Well, I'm in Pennsylvania, so
puber thing,
so oh, I'm sorry, groundhog. So we wait till the groundhog comes out, and then it tells us like the length of the season. I think his name is
exactly,
Phil the groundhog, something like that. Snow
exactly,
Raven,
right?
it has been an amazing, delightful story time with you. I could hear you talk forever and ever and ever. And I'm sure people would want a part two. I mean, you have so many more sounds and stories, I'm sure. But let everybody know at home how they can get a hold of you and what services you offer.
In general, you mean the artistic services?
Yes.
Hmm. So, as I told you before, I'm a musician and I'm a singer, and also I I teach people how to open up their own unique voice. Also, I teach them how to play mouth harp. Here, my instrument. It's a shamanic instrument coming from my homeland, and there are over 100 different types of this instrument around the world. I also teach people how to do Arctic beatboxing, reindeer breath, um, and the northern dances, and mimicking birds and animal sounds. Of course, I wish everybody can connect to the mother nature through the sounds they hear and mimic. And so I am preparing right now very special app. It's called Olox app for the Olox ecosystem. And in this app, I'm preparing the beginners level that people can subscribe and they learn how to start what I've just said with all of these 5 courses. And then we're later going to prepare the intermediate and also advanced levels for that courses. So I'm so happy to share the knowledge of and wisdom of my people that it can be helpful for you, for everyone who would like to awaken own skills like the awakening own healer, sleeping healer or sleeping teacher or sleeping shaman inside, right? I truly believe that everyone can do that. Everyone can sing, can dance in own way. And I also do live concerts, ceremonies, and electronic music set, more like a dance music, all of this combined with the throat singing and mimicking birds and animal sounds and traditional songs. Yeah, so this is basically what I'm doing.
All right, you guys know how to get a hold of her. All her handles were at the bottom of the screen. And we're going to come back in just a second with the midweek collective energy check in. Don't go nowhere, Snow Raven. We still have you for a few more minutes. I know you're focused and zen. And we're going to go ahead and jump to a word from our sponsor.
Imagine a verdant paradise that stands as a convergence of worlds, a living temple of native wilderness, a place where the full potential of inherent human and earth magic can be seen, felt, and understood. A space that attracts the brightest and best of educators on the leading edge. A place of permaculture designed for the benefit of future generations.
All Alrighty, jumping into that midweek collective energy check-in. Let's see what the calls have for everyone this week. All right, we're going to be starting off this very short reading with the 10 of Water, a contented and rewarding family life. Let's make that big. Material needs are met and trustworthy relationships. Does that kind of sound like our card for today? The Ace. I think it does. Material needs met, emotional needs met. I just need to say everybody needs to just open their arm and let love in. Let all the love in. We got Thanksgiving coming up. Let all the love in. Be with your friends, be with your family. If you are not sure how to do this or who to let in, and you're coming from a space of maybe feeling vulnerable, maybe you're feeling hurt, there's going to be signs from above coming in here. This card doesn't want to stay. There's signs from above coming in here, like Snow Raven was saying. There's moments where things are strongly calling you that maybe are typically mundane. But in that moment, with that thought, you've created a sacred space that allows you to receive a message. So be open and willing to receive the messages as they come in the form that they come in. I love this card, and I actually did an exercise to it. Your 111-year-old self. If you're trying to make heads or tails out of anything in your life right now, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? Who should I let in? Who should I keep out? Any types of these doubts. A great exercise is to do a meditation where you go and meet. I don't know where the camera is. Go and meet your 111-year-old self and ask the 111-year-old self, what regrets do you have in life? And it will tell you if what your cycle that you're in right now, what needs to be released or doesn't need to be released, if it's even relevant to the grand scope of your life. Because sometimes we make things this big to be like this big. All right, we have the energy of your totem animal coming in is moose. You know what is best for you. There's going to be people who are going to want to give you heartfelt advice. They're going to want to help you out, but ultimately, you have intuition for a reason. There's no need to ask 10 people the same question. If you sit in that silence and sit with whatever is disturbing you, whatever is not out, whatever is not aligned for you, and really ask this question to your body, does it bring me closer or further away from joy? And trust the answer. Trust what you're feeling inside of your heart and let that heart energy lead you forward. All right, so that's our midweek collective energy check-in. Let's see if Snow Raven has any thoughts. Any of these cards stand out for you?
Moose. So what is best for you is basically the best teacher for ourselves, the best guide or the best healer. It's us, right? No one knows better than yourself about yourself. I don't know. Did you understand my English?
Yes, that was
Okay.
that was perfect.
So this is a very powerful message, and I think moose are the total embodiment of that. We have a lot of moose in Arctic Siberia too, and what was the previous one?
The one
It was
before
a
that,
card. Yeah,
we had
it was beautiful.
signs from above.
Sign from above. Yeah. So this is
111-year-old self.
this one, the 111 years old. This is so practical to ask, to imagine that you are 100 years old person, because this is part of the shamanic concept too. There's a special technique when you imagine, you embody the future or past, so you can travel through the time. And we believe that the imagination is really powerful tool to journey through the dimensions, and the power of thought, the power of imagination. It actually creates. It actually connects you from the present time to the uh, to the universe, which is happening right now, in the future, or in the past. It's a little bit complicated, but I think this is also the similarity between shamanic technique and also the imagining that you are 111 years old. You can imagine any years, and also ask the certain questions, and then asking about what kind of regrets will you have, right? Would you have, this is an amazing technique to look at it,
To
what
discern, to like,
possible, yeah,
yeah, to
mistakes
break
you
it
can do,
apart.
and learning
Mm,
and moving forward, right?
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Snow Raven, thank you so much for being on this episode with us today. Let me get myself together, and I'm going to come right back and give you guys my final thoughts on what I learned from Snow Raven today. Do you or someone you know experience something supernatural that has left a positive impact on yourself or the lives of others? Want to share your story on our show? Please email Divine Encounters at e360tv.com, and together, let's create divine experiences. And now, the Oracle's final thoughts con mucho amor. Man, what did I learn from Snow Raven today? Well, that I can't complain when it's 30 degrees outside, that I don't want to go to the grocery store. That's something that's never coming out of my mouth ever again. Privilege much, but really it was about how tapping into the elements, tapping into the animals brings forward gifts. If we sit in nature long enough to listen, we can then communicate with these beautiful beings that are around us, that are thriving all around us, who are inviting us into their world, if we so chose to sit with it and to listen and to be gentle enough to receive their beautiful messages. I hope you guys go forward and go discover your own backyards. Maybe there's some ravens in your neighborhood you might feed to and have a conversation with. I hope you guys go forward and create divine experiences. May you go in love, light, and wisdom to know thyself, love thyself, and remember the divine always has your back. Ciao.
Everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just hold on. Just hold on.